many talented players on the ice at the same time, and it's all about development, Jack, right? We just want to see how these kids look when playing with their peers against guys their own age, and also that first pro feel for some of these guys, putting on that jersey for the first time and the excitement that comes with that. So when you look at the Jets lineup here this evening, before we get to the players to watch, looking for Wyatt Bongiovanni, a kid they signed last year, closed out his career with the NCAA, played a couple of games with the Manitoba Moose, a lot of skill with him. Henry Nikkanen, a kid they drafted the second round, and a big centerman. Played some time with the Manitoba Moose. Said he liked the North American game a lot more than he did playing in Liga. That's the Finnish Elite League. And let's talk about some of the players that we're looking for here. Cole Perfetti, first-round pick for the Winnipeg Jets in 2020, was injured last year, missed out on a glorious chance to center the first or second line when Mark Scheifele went down. So Perfetti is here because he needs the ice time. He needs to get those game legs going before main camp. He'll be a top 6 forward likely when the dust settles from training camp. And another guy I'm looking at, of course, Brad Lambert. Jets drafted him 30th overall in the 2022 NHL draft. Bob McKenzie had him ranked number 5 in the preseason draft rankings. So he has a lot to prove. Made Team Finland for the World Juniors in Edmonton this past year. Didn't get a lot of ice time. Was a healthy scratch, but this is a good opportunity for Brad Lambert.
And, of course, Brad, the nephew of the new head coach of the New York Islanders, Lane Lambert. On the Edmonton side, it's similar to Winnipeg in the sense that a number of the players that you see before you had significant American Hockey League experience last year. It's an interesting mix of draft picks and also players that have been groomed down in Bakersfield and been part of kind of a revitalized program at the American Hockey League level, similar to what Winnipeg has enjoyed for a number of years. In terms of the highlights, you've got 2 players, both of whom, like Winnipeg's prospects, drafted in the first round. And it starts with Dylan Holloway, who you talk about a tough debut. He makes his debut in Game 4 of a conference final at the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoff level. And Philip Broberg, a defenseman, their first-round pick in 2019, a guy that kind of cut his teeth at the NHL level last year, played spot duty, including in a critical win over LA in Game 6 of the first round of the playoffs. They are extremely high on Broberg and feel like he can make the team out of training camp. And for him to make the team, I feel comfortable in saying he's got to be inside the top 6 because, Jamie, as you know, when it comes to the Young Stars tournament and how you evaluate these prospects, you're looking for them to play every day at the NHL level. Otherwise, you might as well send them down for continued development.
Right, and that's what you want to see. How are they going to adapt to this pressure cook situation? I know it's not about wins and losses. It's about how you're going to produce with quality players on both sides or a defense partner to your left or right side. For the goaltender, big saves in big moments. Those types of things we're going to see over this weekend.
Ryan Fanti and Arvid Holm, our goaltending matchup tonight. And now we pause for our national anthem. good evening, and welcome to the Young Stars Tournament from Penticton, British Columbia. We're back! 5 years after everyone was here, and 4 years after the Jets and Canucks played their own little two-game private series, we're back. I'm Jack Michaels, play-by-play voice for the Edmonton Oilers, along with Jamie Thomas, the analyst for the Winnipeg Jets. And Jamie, the first game of the tournament has, for lack of a better word, our two clubs involved.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, Edmonton, two teams, no stranger to one another, met in the postseason in the summer of 2021. That went the Jets' way. The Oilers coming off a conference final appearance. But this is about the development program of both clubs, which I think you'd agree with me, look kind of similar in terms of the compilation of the rosters.
Yeah, a mixture of first-round picks and a lot of American Hockey League advantage kids that have played in the American Hockey League last year. So very similarly built. Let's look at the Jets for a second. A couple of kids that come to mind right now. Wyatt Bongiovanni finished his NCAA career last spring, signed with the Manitoba Moose, got some American Hockey League experience, better for it, leadership ability with his time in the NCAA. A couple of guys I'm focusing on tonight. Cole Perfetti, first-round pick, 2020, upper body injury, ended his season early. No chance he was going to play in the World Juniors in Edmonton. This is his chance to get his game legs going before main camp begins with an opportunity at a top 6 forward role. How about Brad Lambert? Top 5 pick in Bob McKenzie's preseason draft rankings for 2022. Had some issues in Finland, but went 30th overall to the Winnipeg Jets. They love his speed. Let's see how it translates at this level. That's what I'll be looking for here tonight.
To illustrate your point, Jamie, in terms of that AHL experience, 11 players for Winnipeg played in the American Hockey League last year, 10 for the Edmonton Oilers played with their farm club in Bakersfield, including but not limited to the two players we'll highlight. Dylan Holloway, their first-round pick in 2020, who made his NHL debut in, of all places, Game 4 of the conference final against Colorado. Hey, welcome to the big leagues, kid. And then Philip Broberg, who did play games in the regular season, 21-22, played some minutes, Game 6 of the first-round series, a much-needed victory with the Oilers down 3-2 in Los Angeles. Broberg is a guy in particular that Edmonton has targeted as potentially making this club out of training camp. And that's what the Young Stars Tournament, I think you'd agree with me, Jamie, is all about. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, and that's Young Stars. So, with Broberg in the mix, Holloway, Perfetti, Lucius, Lambert, doesn't stop there, though. Some of the depth guys can make an early impression.
Right, and you never know if you're a guy in this tournament, you can turn this into a professional contract. Some guys here are on PTOs, a great chance to build off of that, go to main camp, get a big contract out of it. So this is a great chance for a lot of these players to start this tournament off.
Last season for the Winnipeg Jets on the roster, 18 guys at one point or another played in this Young Stars Tournament. It's truly a tournament that can serve as a springboard to the National Hockey League. Jamie and I will have the play-by-play momentarily from the South Okanagan Events Center, the first full field tournament since 2017.
Okanagan Silik people, on whose land